Captain Lisa Morgan stared at the star maps floating in front of her command chair. The bridge of Aurora's dawn hummed quietly in the darkness of space. Earth was now 3 weeks behind them, and the ship moved through empty space like a ghost. No one could see them coming or going. That was the whole point of the quantum phase drive that Dr. Maya Thompson had spent 5 years building. Lisa touched the control panel with her finger. The ship was breaking every law the Zephyrian Empire had made for humans. Earth was supposed to stay in its own solar system. Humans were not allowed to travel beyond the quarantine zone. But Lisa had seen the reports from the outer colonies. Strange signals were coming from dead space near the Veil Nebula. Something was out there, and Earth Command wanted to know what it was. Maya walked onto the bridge carrying a data pad. Her face showed worry, but also excitement. She had been tracking energy readings for the past 6 hours. The numbers made no sense according to normal space physics. Whatever was creating these signals was using technology that should not exist. "Captain, the readings are getting stronger," Maya said as she handed Lisa the data pad. "There is definitely something near that dying star. The energy signature looks ancient, but it is still active. I have never seen anything like this before." Lisa looked at the numbers on the screen. The readings showed massive power sources that were older than any known civilization. Even the Zephyrian Empire, with all their advanced technology, could not create energy signatures this complex. This discovery could change everything humans knew about the galaxy. The ship's sensors picked up something else. Another vessel was approaching the same area from a different direction. Lisa called for the tactical display. A sleek ship with elegant curves appeared on the screen. The design was clearly elven. Their ships always looked like works of art, compared to the rough military vessels that humans built. "That is the Starwind Consortium," Maya said after checking the ship databases. "It belongs to Commander Aria Moonwhisper. She runs archaeological missions for the High Elven Council." "What would she be doing out here?" Lisa knew the answer. The elves had also detected the strange signals. They were probably just as curious as the humans about what was creating such powerful energy readings. But elves worked for the Zephyrian Empire. If they found humans this far from Earth, the consequences would be terrible. The tactical officer, Amy Chen, spoke from her station. "Captain, the elven ship is not scanning for other vessels. They seem focused on the energy source. Our stealth systems are working perfectly. They have no idea we are here." Lisa made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. Instead of running away, she ordered the ship to move closer to the dying star. The Aurora's dawn glided through space without making any trace that other ships could detect. The quantum phase drive bent space around them, making them invisible to normal sensors. As they approached the ancient energy source, both ships encountered something unexpected. The dying star began to flare with violent solar storms. Massive waves of radiation and plasma shot out in all directions. The elven ship was caught in the path of a deadly solar flare that would destroy their shields and kill everyone on board. Lisa had seconds to make a choice. She could let the elven ship burn and keep her own mission secret, or she could save them and reveal that humans had technology the Empire did not know about. She thought about the elven crew who were about to die. They were explorers and scientists, just like her own people. "Maya, bring us out of phase mode," Lisa ordered. "Amy, prepare the deflector shields for maximum power. We are going to save that ship." The Aurora's dawn suddenly appeared on every sensor in the area. The ship's powerful shields created a barrier between the elven vessel and the deadly solar flare. Energy crashed against their defenses, but the human ship held firm. The elven ship was safe behind the protective shield. Commander Aria Moonwhisper could not believe what she was seeing. A ship had appeared from nowhere and was protecting her vessel from certain destruction. The design was completely unknown to her. It did not match any species in the galactic databases. The technology was impossible according to everything she knew about space travel. The solar flare passed and space became calm again. Lisa opened communication channels with the elven ship. Two species that were not supposed to meet had just encountered each other in the most remote part of known space. Both had discovered something that could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. "This is Captain Lisa Morgan of the Earth vessel Aurora's Dawn," she transmitted to the elven ship. "Your vessel was in danger from the solar activity. We provided assistance to prevent loss of life," Aria responded with confusion and curiosity in her voice. This is Commander Arya Moonwhisper. I thank you for saving my crew. But your ship does not appear in any Imperial records. How did you approach without being detected? What technology are you using? Lisa realized there was no going back now. The secret was out. A human ship with impossible stealth technology had saved an elven expedition near an ancient energy source. The discovery would reach the Zephyrian Empire within hours. Earth would face consequences for breaking the quarantine laws. But something else was happening. The ancient energy source was responding to the presence of both ships. Massive structures were rising from the surface of nearby asteroids. Technology that had been sleeping for thousands of years was waking up. The dying star began to pulse with regular patterns like a giant beacon calling across the galaxy. Maya ran scans of the awakening structures. Her readings showed technology that was more advanced than anything the current galactic powers possessed. The ancient builders of these devices had knowledge that surpassed even the mighty Zephyrian Empire. This was not just an archaeological discovery. This was evidence of a lost civilization that had once ruled the stars. Both ships found themselves at the center of a mystery that would challenge everything the galaxy believed about its own history. The human stealth ship and the elven science vessel had stumbled onto secrets that some powers would kill to protect. The ancient beacon continued to pulse, sending its signal toward the far reaches of space. In the command centers of the Zephyrian Empire, alarms began to sound as sensors detected the impossible energy signature. Admiral Zex Thara received reports of unknown vessels near the Veil Nebula, a ghost ship that appeared from nowhere, an ancient beacon that should not exist. The Empire would not allow such threats to go unchallenged. The greatest adventure in galactic history had begun with a simple act of mercy between two ships in the darkness of space. Commander Arya Moonwhisper stood in the conference room of her ship, studying the human captain on the communication screen. Lisa Morgan looked tired but determined. Both women knew they had discovered something that would change the galaxy forever. The ancient structures around them continued to wake up after sleeping for thousands of years. Dr. Sylvain Starweaver entered the Elven conference room carrying data crystals filled with historical records. He was old even by Elven standards and had spent centuries studying the mysteries of the galaxy. His long silver hair moved as he walked, and his ancient eyes showed excitement that Arya had rarely seen before. Commander, the energy patterns match. Legends from the earliest Elven archives, Sylvain said as he placed the crystals on the table. These structures were built by the first builders. They ruled the galaxy long before the Zephyrian Empire existed. Most scholars believed they were just myths. On the human ship, Dr. Maya Thompson was making the same discoveries. Her quantum scanners had penetrated deep into the ancient technology. The power sources were unlike anything in current galactic civilization. The builders had understood space and time in ways that modern science could barely imagine. Lisa opened a secure channel between both ships. Commander Moonwhisper, we need to work together. My science officer has found something disturbing in the data. These structures are not just archaeological sites, they are weapons. Arya felt cold fear run through her body. Ancient weapons that could destroy entire star systems, technology that the first builders had hidden across the galaxy. If the Zephyrian Empire found these sites, they would become unstoppable. The delicate balance of galactic power would collapse. Captain Morgan, my people have legends about the star ancestors, Arya replied. The stories say they will return when the galaxy faces its darkest hour. Perhaps they left these weapons for their children to find. Amy Chen worked at her tactical station aboard the Aurora's Dawn. Her scanners had detected 3 Zephyrian warships approaching their location. The Empire had responded faster than anyone expected. Admiral Zexithara was not taking any chances with unknown threats near Imperial space. Captain, we have incoming hostiles, Amy reported. 3 heavy cruisers and they are charging weapons. Estimated arrival in 40 minutes. Lisa made another decision that would shape the future. She could run and leave the Elven ship to face the Empire alone. Her stealth drive would let them escape without being followed, but that meant abandoning new allies and letting the Empire claim the ancient weapons for themselves. Maya, how long do we need to download the complete archive from these structures? Lisa asked her science officer. Maya checked her instruments. The ancient data systems were vast beyond imagination. complete star maps of the galaxy showing locations of hundreds of first builder sites, weapon specifications that could revolutionize space warfare, scientific knowledge that would advance civilization by thousands of years. At least 2 hours for a basic download, Captain, Maya replied. For complete data extraction, we would need days. Lisa contacted the Elven ship again. Commander, we have 40 minutes before the Empire arrives. My science team can extract critical data if your people help us access the ancient systems. But we need to trust each other completely. Arya looked at Dr. Starweaver. The old elf nodded slowly. Cooperating with humans would make them traitors to the Empire. But the knowledge they could gain might save the galaxy from Zephyrian tyranny. Sometimes, the right choice was also the most dangerous one. Very well, Captain Morgan, Arya said. Dr. Starweaver will work with your scientists. My ship has quantum translators that can interface with First Builder technology. Together, we might succeed where either of us would fail alone. Teams from both. Ships began working frantically to unlock the ancient archives. Maya and Sylvain combined human quantum physics with elven historical knowledge. The First Builder systems responded to their joint efforts. Data began flowing between the ships as secrets buried for millennia came to light. The information they discovered was shocking. The First Builders were not an alien species. They were humans from Earth who had ruled a vast galactic empire thousands of years ago. Something had happened to destroy their civilization and scatter their people across the stars. The weapons they left behind were meant for their descendants to find. Amy Chen coordinated the data extraction while monitoring the approaching Empire fleet. The lead ship belonged to Admiral Zexathara himself. The Zephyrian commander was known for destroying entire colonies that defied Imperial law. He would not hesitate to vaporize both ships to protect Empire secrets. Captain, the Empire ships are launching fighter squadrons, Amy reported. They are not waiting for standard surrender protocols. Admiral Zexathara intends to attack immediately. Arya made preparations for battle even though her science vessel was not designed for combat. The Starwind Consortium had elegant shields and advanced sensors but only light defensive weapons. Against 3 heavy cruisers, they would last minutes at most. Lisa studied the tactical display. The Aurora's Dawn had better weapons and armor, but was still outnumbered 3-1. However, they now had advantages the Empire did not expect. The ancient structures around them were responding to human genetic markers. The First Builder weapons were coming online. Maya, can you activate the defensive systems around these structures? Lisa asked. Maya worked frantically at her console. The ancient technology was incredibly complex, but it recognized her DNA as belonging to the original builders. Massive energy cannons emerged from hidden positions on the asteroids. Shield generators that had protected the galaxy's first empire began powering up. The Zephyrian ships arrived expecting to find primitive archaeologists with outdated weapons. Instead, they encountered defensive systems that made their own technology look like stone tools. Energy beams that could slice through Imperial armor like paper, shields that could deflect their most powerful weapons. Admiral Zexathara watched in horror as his lead cruiser was crippled by a single shot from an ancient cannon. The weapon had fired across impossible distances with perfect accuracy. His tactical officers reported that the enemy shields were deflecting all return fire without apparent effort. All ships retreat to minimum safe distance, Zexathara ordered. Transmit priority alert to Imperial Command. Unknown technology level far exceeds our capabilities. Request immediate reinforcement from the core fleets. The ancient beacon continued pulsing its signal across the galaxy. On distant worlds, other First Builder sites began responding to the activation codes. Weapons that had slept since the fall of the First Human Empire were awakening. The balance of galactic power was shifting in ways that would reshape civilization itself. Lisa and Arya realized they had started something that could not be stopped. The Empire would send everything. They had to capture or destroy the ancient technology. But now humans and elves were working together with weapons their ancestors had built. The descendants of the star ancestors were reclaiming their birthright. In the depths of space, reinforcement fleets from both Earth and the Elven High Worlds began preparing for war. The greatest conflict in galactic history was about to begin, and it had started with 2 explorers who chose cooperation over conflict. The Ghost Ship had become the catalyst for revolution. General Kate Sullivan paced across the command center of Earth Defense Station 1. The reports from the Outer Rim were impossible to believe. A human ship with stealth technology had formed an alliance with elven explorers. Together, they had activated ancient weapons that could threaten the entire Zephyrian Empire. The Earth Council was in emergency session debating whether to disavow Captain Morgan or support her actions. Lady Alara Dawnbringer read the same reports in her private chambers on the elven homeworld. The High Council had branded Commander Moonwhisper a traitor for cooperating with humans. But Ilara knew the truth that most elves refused to accept. The Empire treated her people like servants despite their ancient nobility. Perhaps it was time for that to change. Supreme Admiral Vexmorth commanded the largest fleet in Zephyrian history as it moved toward the Veil Nebula. 50 heavy battleships and hundreds of support vessels were converging on the ancient site. The Emperor himself had ordered the complete destruction of the human and elven ships. No witnesses could survive to tell the galaxy about the first builder weapons. Captain Lisa Morgan studied the tactical displays aboard Aurora's Dawn. The ancient defensive systems had given them a temporary advantage, but she knew it would not last. The Empire was bringing enough firepower to crack planets. Even first builder technology had limits when facing such overwhelming numbers. Commander Arya Moonwhisper coordinated with the human crew as they downloaded more data from the ancient archives. Dr. Sylvain Starweaver and Dr. Maya Thompson had discovered star maps showing hundreds of first builder sites across the galaxy. Most were still dormant, but the activation signal was spreading. Ancient weapons were waking up throughout known space. Captain We are receiving a transmission from Earth Command, Amy Chen reported from her station. General Sullivan is requesting immediate contact. Lisa opened the channel and saw Kate Sullivan's face on the main screen. The general looked grim, but determined. Behind her, Lisa could see displays showing Earth's defense fleets preparing for deployment. The decision had been made at the highest levels of human government. Captain Morgan, you have created a situation that threatens the stability of our entire civilization, General Sullivan said. The Empire is demanding that we surrender you and your crew for immediate execution. The Earth Council has voted to refuse their demands. Lisa felt relief and fear at the same time. Earth was backing her actions, but that meant war with the most powerful empire in the galaxy. Billions of human lives would be at risk because of her choices. The weight of responsibility was almost crushing. General, what are our orders? Lisa asked. Kate Sullivan's expression became steel hard. Hold your position, Captain. The first defense. Fleet is moving to your coordinates. We will not abandon our people to imperial justice. If the Empire wants a war, they will get one. Lady Alara Dawnbringer made her own preparations in secret. The official elven position supported the Empire, but many of her people disagreed with the High Council's decision. She used her influence to redirect weapons shipments and supply convoys toward the Outer Rim. When the fighting began, the elven resistance would have the tools they needed. Admiral Zexathara arrived first with a smaller advance fleet. His orders were to secure the area and prevent any more ancient technology from being activated. He brought 20 warships and elite assault, troops trained for boarding actions. The plan was to capture the human and elven crews alive for interrogation. The battle began when Zexathara demanded the surrender of both ships. Lisa refused, and the Admiral opened fire with everything he had. Energy beams and missile barrages streaked across space toward the Aurora's Dawn and Starwind consortium. The ancient defensive systems responded with devastating counterattacks. Amy Chen coordinated the human ship's weapons as they joined the battle. The Aurora's Dawn had been designed for stealth, not combat, but her quantum torpedoes could penetrate. Imperial shields. Working with the elven ship, they focused their attacks on the enemy flagship. Arya Moonwhisper proved that elven ships could fight as beautifully as they looked. The Starwind Consortium danced between enemy formations using superior speed and maneuverability. Her energy weapons carved through Imperial armor, while ancient cannons provided supporting fire from the asteroids. The tide of battle shifted when more Imperial ships arrived. Admiral Zexathara called for reinforcements, and soon 30 enemy vessels were attacking the small Alliance force. The ancient defenses were powerful, but they could not target every threat at once. Both human and elven ships began taking serious damage. Maya Thompson made a desperate decision. She activated an experimental protocol that linked the Aurora's dawned directly to the First Builder network. The ship's quantum computers began accessing weapons systems that had been dormant for thousands of years. Power flowed through ancient conduits as the technology of the star ancestors came fully online. The dying star at the center of the system suddenly flared with controlled energy. Massive solar prominences reached out like fingers of fire guided by technology beyond current understanding. The stellar flames engulfed 3 Imperial ships and vaporized them instantly. The star itself had become a weapon. Admiral Zexathara ordered his remaining ships to retreat, but it was too late. The First Builder beacon had sent its signal across the galaxy, and other sites were responding. Ancient defense networks that had protected the first human empire were coming back to life. Imperial installations throughout the Rim territories came under attack from weapons that appeared from nowhere. Dr. Sylvain Starweaver made a shocking discovery as he studied the historical records. The First Builders had not been destroyed by war or natural disaster. They had voluntarily abandoned their empire and scattered across the stars. The records called it the Great Dispersal. They had hidden their technology and waited for the time when their descendants would need it most. The star ancestors knew this day would come, Sylvain told Arya. They saw that the galaxy would fall under tyranny. The weapons and the knowledge were left for us to find when freedom was threatened. We are living in the prophecy that my people have remembered for centuries. General Sullivan's relief fleet arrived as the battle reached its climax. Earth's most advanced warships emerged from quantum jumps and immediately engaged the remaining Imperial forces. Human military technology had improved dramatically since the quarantine began. The Empire was about to learn that underestimating humans was a fatal mistake. Lady Alara Dawnbringer's secret support became visible as Elven resistance ships appeared throughout the battle zone. Weapons that should have been in Imperial armories were now in the hands of freedom fighters. The careful balance that had kept the Empire stable for centuries was collapsing as oppressed species rose up with First Builder technology. Supreme Admiral Vexmorth received reports of rebellion spreading across dozens of star systems. Ancient human weapons were targeting Imperial installations, while subject species demanded independence. The Emperor's orders were clear. Use any force necessary to crush the rebellion before it could spread further. The largest fleet in galactic history accelerated toward the Veil Nebula. Vexmorth commanded 1,000 warships with the power to destroy entire civilizations. But he was moving toward a trap that had been set by the first human empire thousands of years ago. The star ancestors had planned for this moment when their children would reclaim the galaxy. Captain Lisa Morgan looked at the approaching fleet on her tactical display. The final battle was coming, and the fate of galactic civilization would be decided in the ancient burial ground of the First Builders. She had started this war by saving an elven ship from a solar flare. Now she would help finish what her ancestors had begun long ago. The ghost ship had become the flagship of a revolution that would reshape the stars themselves. Commander Nicole Parker led Earth's largest battle fleet through the quantum jump points toward the Veil Nebula. Behind her came 50 of humanity's most advanced warships, carrying weapons and technology that the galaxy had never seen before. Dr. Maya Thompson's research had been shared with Earth's military scientists, and they had built ships that could challenge the Empire's finest vessels. Master Sage Lirelei Night Song stood in the ancient archives beneath the elven capital city. For centuries, she had guarded the deepest secrets of her people, including prophecies that spoke of the return of the star ancestors. The time had come to reveal knowledge that could save or damn the galaxy, depending on how it was used. War Prime Drakthor commanded the Emperor's personal dreadnought as it moved at the center of Supreme Admiral Vexmorth's massive fleet. The ship was larger than most space stations and carried enough firepower to reduce entire worlds to ash. The Emperor had sent his most trusted enforcer to ensure that the human rebellion would end in complete annihilation. Captain Lisa Morgan felt the weight of history pressing down on her as she studied the tactical situation. The First Builder network was fully active now, with ancient weapons awakening across the galaxy, but the Empire was bringing 1,000 ships to destroy the source of the rebellion. Even the technology of the star ancestors might not be enough to stop such overwhelming force. Commander Arya Moonwhisper worked frantically with the combined human and elven science teams as they raced to unlock more First Builder secrets. The Ancient computers held the keys to weapons that could reshape reality itself, but they needed time that the approaching Imperial Armada would not give them. Nicole Parker's fleet arrived first and immediately took defensive positions around the ancient structures. Her ships spread out in a formation that would force the Empire to fight through layers of First Builder defenses. Each vessel carried quantum torpedoes and energy shields based on technology that Maya Thompson had discovered in the archives. "Captain Morgan, this is Commander Parker," Nicole transmitted to the Aurora's dawn. "Earth Command sends its regards and our best ships. We are ready to show the Empire what humans can do when we fight together." Master Sage Lyrelay made her way to the communications center in the Elven capital. The High Council had forbidden any support for the rebellion, but she carried documents that could change their minds. Ancient scrolls that proved the Star Ancestors had left specific instructions for their Elven allies when the time of awakening came. "Honored Council members, I bring proof that our current path leads to destruction," Lyrelay said as she entered the Council chamber. "The prophecies are clear. We must aid the children of the Star Ancestors or face the wrath of powers beyond our understanding." War Prime Drakthor studied intelligence reports about the human rebellion as his dreadnought approached the battle zone. The enemy had activated weapons that should not exist and formed alliances that threatened the natural order of the galaxy. His orders were simple: kill everything and leave no trace of the ancient technology. The First Builder beacon continued pulsing its signal across space as more ancient sites responded to the activation codes. On worlds throughout the galaxy, Imperial garrisons found themselves under attack from weapons that emerged from planetary surfaces. Defense systems that had been dormant for millennia suddenly came to life and began targeting Zephyrian installations. Dr. Maya Thompson made a breakthrough that changed everything. Deep in the First Builder archives, she found references to a central command station located in the galactic core. The ancient humans had built a master control system that could activate or deactivate their entire weapons network. Whoever controlled that station would command the most powerful military force in galactic history. "Captain, we need to reach the galactic core," Maya told Lisa. "The First Builders left a master control system that can coordinate all their weapons. If we can activate it, we can turn the entire network against the Empire." Lisa realized that meant leaving the battle and making a desperate journey to the most dangerous region of the galaxy. The galactic core was filled with black holes and radiation storms that could destroy any ship. But if they could reach the command station, they might be able to end the war without destroying civilization. Commander Arya made the same decision. "My ship will accompany you, Captain Morgan. The Elven people have legends about the Heart of Stars where the ancestors built their greatest works. Together we might succeed where either of us would fail." Supreme Admiral Vexmorth's main fleet arrived as the two ships prepared to depart. 1,000 Imperial warships emerged from quantum space and immediately began their attack. Energy beams and missile barrages filled the void as the largest battle in galactic history began around the ancient First Builder site. Nicole Parker's fleet fought with desperate courage against impossible odds. Human ships used their advanced stealth systems and quantum weapons to strike at the Imperial formation, but they were outnumbered 20-1, and even the ancient defenses could not protect them from such overwhelming firepower. Lady Alara Dawnbringer led her resistance fleet into battle as the Elven High Council finally voted to support the rebellion. Master Sage Lyrelay's prophecies had convinced them that opposing the Star Ancestors would bring destruction to their entire civilization. Elven ships emerged throughout the battle zone to support their human allies. War Prime Drakthor targeted the Aurora's Dawn and Starwind consortium as they tried to escape toward the galactic core. His massive dreadnought could destroy both ships with a single salvo. But Commander Arya made a sacrifice that saved the human vessel and changed the course of the battle. "Captain Morgan, take your ship and complete the mission," Arya transmitted as she turned her vessel toward the enemy dreadnought. "My people will remember this day as the moment we chose freedom over slavery." The Starwind Consortium accelerated toward War Prime Drakthor's flagship while channeling all power to forward shields. Arya knew her ship would be destroyed, but she could damage the dreadnought enough to let Lisa escape. The elegant elven vessel crashed into the Imperial monster like a silver arrow piercing a giant's heart. Both ships vanished in an explosion that lit up the entire battle zone. War Prime Drakthor and Commander Arya Moonwhisper died together as their vessels were consumed by forces beyond control. The sacrifice gave Aurora's Dawn the time needed to activate its quantum drive and disappear toward the galactic core. Lisa watched the explosion through her ship's sensors and felt tears running down her face. Arya had saved them, but the cost was almost too much to bear. The elven commander had become a true friend, and her death would be remembered as long as the alliance between their peoples survived. The battle continued to rage around the first builder site as more ancient weapons came online. The Emperor's fleet was taking heavy losses, but they still had enough ships to crush the rebellion. Everything now depended on whether Lisa could reach the Master Control Station and turn the full power of the Star Ancestors against their enemies. Maya Thompson plotted a course through the radiation storms and gravity wells that protected the galactic core. The journey would take them through regions of space where reality itself became uncertain. But somewhere in that cosmic maelstrom lay the key to victory and the fulfillment of prophecies that were older than any living civilization. The ghost ship that had started a war was now racing to finish it. The descendants of the first builders were returning to claim their inheritance and reshape the galaxy according to their vision of freedom and justice. President Helen Foster stood before the assembled representatives of 50 different species in the Grand Hall that had once housed the Zephyrian Imperial Senate. The Empire had fallen 3 months ago when Captain Lisa Morgan activated the first Builder Master Control System. Now the galaxy was forming a new government based on cooperation instead of conquest. The Aurora's Dawn had survived its journey to the galactic core, despite radiation storms that had nearly torn the ship apart. Dr. Maya Thompson's quantum shields had protected them long enough to reach the ancient command station hidden inside a massive space structure that defied all known physics. The Master Control System had responded to human genetic codes and awakened the full power of the Star Ancestors. Across the galaxy, First Builder weapons had simultaneously targeted every major Zephyrian installation. The Empire's mighty fleets found themselves facing technology that made their own ships look primitive. Within hours, the rebellion had become a revolution that swept away thousands of years of imperial rule. Species that had been enslaved for generations suddenly found themselves free. Admiral Lisa Morgan accepted her new rank as the first human to command galactic military forces in recorded history. The promotion felt strange after spending most of her career as an explorer, but the galaxy needed leaders who understood both human ingenuity and alien cultures. Her first order had been to grant amnesty to any Imperial officers who surrendered peacefully. Former Admiral Zex Thara served as an advisor to the new Galactic Confederation despite his previous loyalty to the Empire. His knowledge of military strategy and imperial politics had proven valuable in maintaining order during the transition. Many species had demanded his execution, but Lisa believed that mercy would build a stronger foundation for lasting peace. Dr. Maya Thompson and Dr. Sylvain Starweaver established the Galactic Archaeological Institute in a ceremony that brought together the greatest minds from dozens of worlds. Their mission was to locate and study the remaining First Builder sites while ensuring that the ancient weapons would be used only for defense. The Star Ancestors had left technology that could destroy or create depending on the wisdom of those who wielded it. The biggest surprise came when rescue teams reached the wreckage of the battle at Vale Nebula. Commander Arya Moonwhisper had survived the collision with War Prime Drakthor's dreadnought by using an experimental elven escape pod. Her injuries were severe, but elven medical technology had healed her completely. The reunion with Lisa had been emotional for both women who had started as strangers and become the closest of allies. President Foster addressed the diverse crowd of species representatives as they debated the structure of their new government. Humans had been chosen to lead the Confederation not because they were superior, but because they had proven willing to share power and respect other cultures. The First Builder inheritance came with responsibilities that required wisdom and restraint. The Star Ancestors left us more than weapons, Helen Foster said to the assembled delegates. They left us a choice between tyranny and freedom, between conquest and cooperation. We stand here today because brave individuals chose to work together despite the risks. That spirit must guide us as we build a better galaxy, Archon Thalion. Starborn spoke for the reformed elven government as they officially joined the Confederation. The High Council had been replaced by elected representatives who supported the alliance with humanity. The ancient prophecies about the return of the star ancestors had become the foundation for a new elven renaissance based on exploration and discovery. The ceremony was interrupted by alerts from the Outer Rim territories. Long-range sensors had detected massive energy signatures beyond the edge of known space. The readings matched first builder technology, but the power levels were unlike anything in the archives. Something was moving toward the galaxy from the deep void between star clusters. Lisa studied the sensor data with growing excitement and concern. The energy signatures suggested ships or structures larger than anything the current galaxy could build. If they were first builder vessels returning from some distant mission, the implications would reshape everything they thought they knew about their ancestors. Maya Thompson coordinated the response as exploration fleets prepared to investigate the mysterious contacts. The new government had decided that first contact with unknown civilizations would be handled by joint human and elven crews. The partnership that had started the revolution would continue to lead the galaxy toward an uncertain but hopeful future. Commander Arya received her own promotion to ambassador as she prepared to lead the first diplomatic mission beyond galactic borders. Her experience with human culture and first builder technology made her the ideal representative for peaceful contact with whatever was approaching from deep space. The elegant elven ship Starwind Consortium had been rebuilt with the latest human stealth systems. The Galactic Confederation faced its first major test as member species debated how to respond to the approaching unknowns. Some wanted to meet them with weapons while others advocated for peaceful contact. The decision would show whether the new government could make difficult choices without falling back into the patterns of fear and aggression that had doomed the Empire. Lisa and Arya stood together on the bridge of a new class of exploration, vessel that combined the best of human and elven technology. The ship represented everything the Alliance had accomplished since that first meeting near a dying star. Advanced stealth systems protected an elegant hull that carried both weapons and diplomatic facilities. Dr. Sylvain Starweaver had made one final discovery in the deepest archives of the First Builder database. The star ancestors had not been the first galactic civilization. They had inherited their own legacy from even more ancient builders who had scattered to distant galaxies. The cycle of rise and fall had repeated many times across cosmic history. Perhaps the approaching ships carry the descendants of civilizations that left our galaxy long ago, Sylvain suggested as they studied the readings. The universe is far larger and older than we imagined. We may be about to meet cousins we never knew existed. The joint exploration fleet departed for the Rim territories, carrying hopes for peaceful contact and preparation for any threat. Humans and elves working together had already changed the galaxy, once. Now they would face whatever was coming from the cosmic deep with courage and curiosity. Behind them, the new Galactic Confederation continued building a civilization based on cooperation and mutual respect. Former enemies worked together to heal the damage caused by centuries of imperial rule. The technology of the star ancestors provided tools for creation instead of destruction. President Foster signed the final documents that established the new government as representatives from dozens of species witnessed the historic moment. The galaxy had a constitution that protected the rights of all intelligent beings and guaranteed that no single species would ever again dominate the others. The HFY ghost ship that had started as a simple exploration mission had become the catalyst for the greatest transformation in galactic history. Captain Lisa Morgan's decision to save an elven vessel had led to the fall of an empire and the birth of a new age. The descendants of the first builders had reclaimed their inheritance and would use it to build something better than anything that had come before. In the deep void between galaxies, ancient vessels continued their approach toward the new confederation. The next chapter of galactic history was about to begin, and it would test everything that humans and their allies had learned about cooperation and courage. The star ancestors had prepared their children well for the challenges that lay ahead in the infinite darkness of space.